before I get into my F1 2025 predictions, I want to hear your F1 2025 predictions in the comments down below. I'm going to be running a competition. Whoever gets the least amount of points, which the way I'm going to dictate points, if you haven't watched the previous video, which is right here, is every position you get right is 0 points. And then each driver, one position off, equals 1 point. So if you say Max Verstappen P20 and then Max Verstappen wins, then that's 19 points. The more points, the worst. So everyone, put your F1 2025 predictions in the comments down below. And the winner, whoever gets the least amount of points, I will be paying for you and I to do a rental karting session together, anywhere in England, any track of your choice, for 2 sessions. And we'll be doing it as content, like both with onboard cameras. Right, now we've got that out of the way in the first minute, let's get into my F1 2025 predictions. So, if you've not watched last season's predictions or my reaction to the predictions, go watch either here or here. I'll definitely be able to do that. And we'll get into it. So, again, just like last season, I made 3 bold predictions. Now, I'm only going to do 2 of them because one of them is world champion and that is slightly bold. So, bold prediction number 1 is for Hamilton to win his first race with Ferrari. I think he can do it. We'll see. I don't know. Well, I'm filming this actually after the second test session. So it's currently Friday and the 3rd practice hasn't happened yet, and neither is the first quali of the season. But he has been slower than Charlie Leclerc so far, so we'll see. My second bold prediction of the season is for Franco Colapinto to replace Jack Doohan in the Alpine. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. I'm keeping that in. Right, Alpine. Oh God, I'm gonna get rinsed for that. Right. Luckily, only about 50 people watch these, so maybe I won't get rinsed too hard. Right, so let's get straight into the constructors. I'm gonna go 10th to 1st. Well, 10th to 6th, and then 5th to 1st. So P10, I'm gonna go for Sauber, Kick Sauber, whatever they're called now. They're not looking too good, to be honest. They weren't looking very good in Bahrain, although they did look a little bit better today at Australia, but I'm still going to put them P10 in the standings. P9, V-Carb. They actually looked insane today, so maybe I should have changed this, because I wrote these predictions prior to today. I've just not got around to filming this video yet. Maybe I should change this, but I'm just sticking to my guns. V-Carb, P9 out of 10. P8, Aston Martin. Again, they looked quite good today, so I might regret putting them P8. P7, I've put Haas, the American Formula 1 team. Going to be joined by Cadillac next season, so they won't be the only American Formula 1 team for long. But I've put P7, and today they had a horrendous day. Behrman in the fence. Ocon was then P last out of everyone left. Not looking good for them. Then in P6, I've put in Alpine. Yeah, same position as last season. So, I don't know. Again, they're not looking as good as what they were in Bahrain. So Bahrain's a bit of an outlier, but then so is Melbourne, because Bahrain's a very abrasive surface, very open tarmac, which basically rips up your tyres a lot more. And they say that, I've never been there, but they say that the track is also induces a lot of oversteer in the car. So if you've got a car that's planted on the rear, it might look exaggeratedly good at that track, whereas then other tracks you might need to try and get more rotation out of the car. A bit like how Hamilton was complaining about understeer earlier today. So, now top 5. P5, I've put Williams. I think they've got a class driver lineup. And again, they were looking really good in Bahrain, so that's why I put in P5. P4, Mercedes. Their driver lineup, I don't think, is anywhere near as strong as it was last season. But Antonelli's a bit of an unknown quantity. Obviously, he dominated Freca the year prior to last, so 2023, but really didn't shine in Formula 2. So, that being said, he's got a lot of seat time in the F1 already, which is a huge advantage. I can't tell you how big an advantage that is. So, we'll see how he does. P3, I've put Red Bull. I think they're going to start off with quite a weak car. And the reason why I'm limiting the entries of this until the 29th of May, the end of May, because then that's the start that's the Spanish Grand Prix, the start of the European season. And at the European season is when they changed the rules to take away the flexi wing. Now, the flexi wing is a big aspect as to why McLaren became such a fast car. The Ferrari and Mercedes all became such fast cars relative to Red Bull at the back end of last season, because they developed these flexi wings, which basically made the car very fast in a straight line and still didn't lose the downforce in the corners, because the slower they went, then the more downforce they had, which is the complete opposite to how it normally works. So, like I say, P3, I've put Red Bull. P2, Ferrari. I think Ferrari are going to go P2. Obviously, Hamilton's new team. And then that leaves P1, and I've put that as McLaren. So, what do you guys think about those? I don't know. We'll soon find out. I think McLaren will be the fastest car by a mile at the start. I think I'm expecting them to win this weekend. I'm expecting them to win most weekends up until Spain. The thing is, I think that the two drivers will be taking points from each other. So I don't think anyone will really run away too much in the drivers, whereas in constructors, that'll obviously just help them build. And you've got to add in the extra element that they won last season's Constructors' Championship, which even though that means they get more prize money, they're actually going to have less wind tunnel time relative to the teams who finish behind them. So, I don't know. We'll see. Now, drivers. This is the interesting one. Wait, I'm sure you all came here. I've actually put in 21 drivers because of my bold prediction number 2, Colapinto to replace Doohan. So, in P21, Jack Doohan, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think he's going to lose his seat. I think Flavio Briatore, or however you say his name, the guy who ran Benetton, and then ran Renault, I think he's going to lose his temper with Jack Doohan. And I think he's going to pull the trigger very soon on him. And I think it's going to be really unfair on Doohan, because he's not really going to have a chance to learn, obviously, in the hardest category in the world. But I don't think that Briatore really sees it like that. I think he just sees it like, you should be able to just perform straight away, like fresh out of the womb. So I think he's probably going to get the sack. P20, I put Hulkenberg. Now, that is a very, very bold statement. And the reason why that's a bold statement is because I've put P19 Bortoleto. So I've basically put Bortoleto, the rookie, the F2 and F3 champion, to beat his very experienced teammate, Hulkenberg, who everyone knows is absolutely class. He smoked K-Mag last season. So we'll see how accurate those positions are. Now in P18, I've put Isaac Hadjar. I'm not really sure how you pronounce his name. It's obviously French. Again, judging by today's practice, he's proven me well wrong from these predictions that I wrote down yesterday. That thing looked hooked up and he went P6. So, but like I say, I'm sticking with my guns here. I wrote these predictions yesterday prior to the practices, so I don't want to go changing them now, because then I feel like that's unfair. I should have written them prior. P17, Lance Stroll. Yeah, let's leave that there. P16, Oliver Bearman. Now, I think he'll have an okay first season. He already shunted today, but I don't think he's going to come near Ocon, really. I think Ocon's going to be picking up the majority of the points for the team. I think Bearman's going to have the odd race here and there that will be good, and glimpses of his potential. But I don't think he's going to take it to Ocon. I think Ocon's another level where Bearman is still young and will take time to get to that level. P15, Colapinto. I think Colapinto will get some class results. So for the P15, let's see how that transpires in reality. P14, Yuki Tsunoda-san. So I think he'll be beating Hadjar. I think that's a fair comment. He was actually quicker than Lawson today, and was coming out in the interview kind of suggesting that he's quicker than Lawson as well. So he's definitely got a chip on his shoulder, and he's rapid. I think he might be Japan's best generation. I think he might be Japan's best talent, I should say, since Takuma Sato, which is a very big call, because Takuma Sato, if you know me, you know how much I love the Japanese GOAT. Obviously, 2-time Indy 500 winner, and one memory of his that sticks out in my mind, one memory of mine of him, I should say, that sticks out in my mind is that race in Canada 2007 where he did the move on Alonso. Oh my God, what a move, what a driver. Yuki Tsunoda, I think is like Sato level. So Kobayashi was close, but I think Sato is better than Kobayashi, like prime to prime. I think Sonoda's like getting to that point now where he might be the best Japanese in my sort of lifetime that I've witnessed. P13, I put Esteban Ocon. Esti Bestie. Again, Haas looked terrible today, so judging on today's performance, that's like very optimistic to put Ocon there. I really, really rate him. I really like him as a driver on like one lap. Sometimes I don't like him so much in terms of, I think he's a bit whiny. I think he whinges a bit. But as a driver, I think he's brilliant. I think he's one of the best on the grid. P12, Pierre Gasly. So I put in P12. Where's his teammate? So, oh yeah, his teammate I put in as Colapinto, didn't I? I think he's going to wipe the floor doing, if I'm being honest. He is class. Do I need to say much more? Let the driving speak for itself. P11, I've put Albano. Again, I was kind of judging Williams as a step ahead of that backpack or the middle field, but like a step behind the big four. So I put him as a P11 driver. We'll see how that goes. P10, I've put Alonso. Despite I think that Aston will be bad, I think those dogfights with how close that pack is, Alonso's always that guy who's like in either the top 2 or 3 off that midfield fight. I think he's going to be that consistently throughout the season. So a lot of P9s, a lot of P10s I'm expecting. When then like a top guy retires or shunts, he'll be the guy in P8, P7. And those are the big points what put you P10 in the champs at the end of the season. Because these guys are kind of going to be getting like 100 points throughout the 24 races. So that average is kind of like 4 points a race, which is like a P8 finish. So a few P8s, maybe the odd P5. And I see Alonso seriously putting himself in that top 10, despite the fact that I think the Aston is going to be a pile of poo-poo. Carlos Sainz, P9. I think the Williams will have the upper hand. Even after today, where the Aston looked way better and the Williams looks a bit more disappointing, I think overall the Williams is going to be a better package than the Aston. And therefore, I think Sainz will be the best of the rest behind the big four. So, moving into the big four and the top 8 drivers. P8, Kimi Antonelli. I think he's going to come last out of the big 8. P7, Liam Lawson. I don't think the Red Bull is going to be a very good kit. And I don't think it's going to be like a second off the pace. But I think it will be weaker than those other 3 cars around it. The Merc, the McLaren and the Ferrari. In particular, the McLaren. So I think it's going to be a dogfight. And I think he's not quite going to be able to make the difference. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm kind of expecting him to be like right in the thick of it. And probably a few shunts here and there. Like just getting used to racing against these guys, new class. And what you got to remember, guys, is I've done different classes where like I've moved up through classes. And some of them feel like massive steps. But the step, I guarantee you, I've not done it myself, but I can guarantee it. The step from F2 to F1, or even Super Formula to F1, is bigger than any other step in any other class of motorsport. Unless you go from like cadet kart to like Formula 2. But come on, that's not happening, is it? That is a huge step. And I think for both Antonelli and Lawson, that's going to be very, very difficult. They're the only 2 rookies in the top big 4 teams. I think that's going to cost him. P6, I've put Lewis Hamilton. Now, I've always been a bit of like a Hamilton fan ever since I was younger. But do I think he's going to beat Leclerc? No. So I've got to reflect that in my result. And then based on where I've put Leclerc, I've got to put him lower. So I've put Hamilton P6. And at the bottom of my top 5, I've put P5, George Russell. I think the Merc is the 3rd best car right now. I'm expecting it to stay like that. I think when the flexi wings get banned for Spain onwards, I think the Red Bull will improve relative. I think the Merc will then become the 4th car. So for that reason, I've put Russell P5. And then because of that, P4, Charlie Leclerc. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He is a rapid. He's coming into his prime. I want to say he's like 26 now. I think a driver coming into your prime at like 32, like literally like 25 to 35, I think is the prime of a driver. And then I think you can still be like ultra competitive into your 40s even, but he's just coming into that. He's only going to get better. He's not going to get worse. He's now got Hamilton to learn off, like the best, objectively the best driver in the history in terms of results. So he's going to be picking stuff of his experience, but with a Leclerc speed, he's going to be an animal. P3, Oscar Piastri. Now, I was really umming and ahhing about this. I do think the McLaren will be the best car. I truly believe that. I do think that the ban on flexi wings will hold him back a bit. And obviously then it's hard to judge the rest of the development. We've got 24 races and it finishes, we're in March now and it finishes in like November. So it's like a whole year nearly. But just educated best guess, I think Norris is going to get the better of him in points. He didn't have that consistency last season. I think he'll be more consistent this season, but I think Norris is still going to do him. And that's why I put Norris as P2. So I've got Norris down again 2 years in a row as vice champion. I think he'll be running away with it at the start of the season. And I think it'll be a dogfight. But then I think Max Verstappen will be your 2025 world champion. And that's what I'm sticking with. And that's my bold prediction number 3 as well. Max Verstappen to be world champion in 2025. You heard it here first on the 14th or 15th of March, whenever it is. I think it's going to be his 5th champs in a row. A lot of people aren't going to like me saying that, but it's my prediction. I want to get the least amount of points possible. I need to do better than what I did for last season's, which isn't hard, because I got 72 points. Oh, 72. Oh, I hope the winner of this competition gets like under 20. But yeah, that's a nice segue into enter the championship. Enter the competition and put your comment down below with who you think it's going to come where. And the prizes, as I say, 2 rental karting sessions, GoPro cameras, footage, just a good old hack with you and I. So leave a comment of your predictions, leave a like and subscribe if you can. Thank you very much for making it this far and I'll see you in the next one.